Welcome back, everyone. My name is Owen from Stiffler Podcast, and this is the podcast where we fill you in with all the information that has been happening in the sports world from football to soccer. Okay, so now let's get into the podcast. So I'm going to be going into the debate of who is the best Penn State running back ever. So this is just like the kickoff for the football season and college football, and I just like to add this in. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a top 5, and I'm going to start with an honorable mention. So with my honorable mention, it is Curtis Enis. So him and Larry Johnson, who is 5, are like separable, like inseparable. Like they can't, like I can't put one over the other. So they're both like together. So Curtis Enis had more rushing yards and rushing touchdowns than Larry Johnson. But the only thing is, Larry Johnson had probably the best season ever for a Penn State running back. He averaged 7.7 yards per carry. That's more than Barry Sanders did when he was with Oklahoma State. And he had 20 touchdowns and over 2,000 yards. That is insane. So now we're going to go on to number 4, which is Kurt Warner. So I picked him because he was a 2-time All-American, and he held 42 school records when he left. That is completely insane. And he had more touchdowns than this next guy and more rushing yards, but there's one little slight imperfection. So the next guy is John Cappeletti. He is the only person in Penn State history to win the Heisman Trophy. That is the only reason why he is ahead of Kurt Warner. And John Cappeletti, he doesn't have as many yards or touchdowns as some of these other guys, but what he does have is a Heisman Trophy. So this is number 2 and number 1. So number 2 and number 1, they're just in a completely different tier than these other guys. So number 2 is Kai John Carter. He was the number 1 overall pick in 1995. That shows you that he had like a super great college career. And he holds the most yards per carry as a school record in Penn State. So he has the most yards per carry out of anybody. And I read an article, and it said that if he wouldn't have played with Joe Paterno because he didn't like running up scores, he would have had way better stats, even though he has amazing stats already. So now I'm going on to the number 1. So this guy has played really recently, and his name is Saquon Barkley. Saquon is clearly the number 1. Clearly. He holds the records for every single thing, basically, at Penn State, other than yards per carry. He holds their rushing records for yards, their receptions by a running back, their rushing touchdowns. And he basically just holds all the records. And he only played 3 years compared to some of these other guys, like Curtis Enis. They played 4 years. Meanwhile, Barkley did all these records, and he only played 3 years. Okay, so now I'm going to be reacting to the NFL's top 100 list. This list is always hilarious. So I'm going to read you the top 10 from 10 to 1, and then I'm just going to say my thoughts. So number 10 is Travis Kelce, then it's Jalen Ramsey, Patrick Mahomes, Devontae Adams, TJ Watt, Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Rodgers is 3, Aaron Donald's 2, and you know who's number 1? Tom Brady. Tom Brady. How the heck is he number 1? He is not the best player in the league. Aaron Rodgers just won 2 straight MVPs, and he's only 3. Like how? If I could pick, I wouldn't even put Tom Brady in my top 10. Like right now. Seriously. I wouldn't. So, here are my thoughts about this. So, first of all, how is Tom Brady the best player? Like, it's, in my opinion, it should be, I can name like a couple quarterbacks that are better than him. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and probably Josh Allen right now, even though I'm not the biggest Josh Allen fan. So Jonathan Taylor, it had a very great season. He was the best running back in the league last year. But still, 1 year and he's already in the top 5. I don't really think. Like, TJ Watt went Defensive Player of the Year. He should be ahead of Jonathan Taylor. Patrick Mahomes should be ahead of Jonathan Taylor. And Aaron Rodgers just won 2 straight MVPs. And I already said this, but how is he not ahead of Tom Brady? How? Just tell me why. And the other thing is, Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, is the best player in the NFL right now. Like, I think he just brings so many things to the table that nobody else in the league can match. So I'm going to tell you my list. So number 1 is Aaron Donald. He's just so dominant and he's just so dominant. Okay, so then I have next is Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers is, like, he's so accurate. And even though he doesn't have any receivers this year, list is about last year, not this year. So if this list was based on this year, it would be completely different. So Aaron Rodgers is 2, then Patrick Mahomes. Don't have to say anything about it. Then we've got Cooper Kupp. He just won the Triple Crown. If he's not top 5, I don't even know what to say. Then we've got TJ Watt, best defensive player probably other than Aaron Donald. Then Jonathan Taylor, then Devontae Adams, then Jalen Ramsey, then Kelsey. And then if I had to put Brady at 10, I would. But in my opinion, Brady isn't a top 10 player in the league right now. Okay, so now I'm going to be getting into some signings. So Russell Wilson signed a 5-year, $245 million extension with the Broncos. This is third most in history with $165 million guaranteed. That is the third most in NFL history. So Russell Wilson, this affects Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson is holding out on a contract basically because the regular season is starting super soon, and he said because he doesn't have an agent, he's going to stop talks about signings until the end of the year. So I think this means to Lamar Jackson that if he's going to really bet on himself, which he's the kind of person who would, I would definitely just be thinking in your head, like, Russell Wilson just got paid 5 years, $245 million, and I've won an MVP in the past 5 years, and Russell Wilson hasn't done that. So in my opinion, he should probably get paid more than that, even though Russell Wilson's probably better right now, even though that's questionable. But Russell Wilson's older. That's the only thing. So Lamar Jackson has basically everything ahead of him. He can run better than Russ, except for the passing stuff. And he's younger, and he's won an MVP. So for Lamar Jackson, this means he's just getting extra money, and the Ravens need to give him the money right now. Okay, so lastly, I'm going to be talking about the Donovan Mitchell trade. So when this first happened, I was like, why would he go to the Cavs? And then I realized that they have a great team. They just need a shooting guard or small forward that could really just be powerful. And so this is their lineup now. So the Cavs have Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, C.D. Osman, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. So that is insane. But the only thing is they gave up a lot. So they gave up 3 unprotected first-round picks. With the NBA, late first-round picks aren't the biggest deal ever. And they gave up Colin Sexton, who's a pretty good young player, and Ochai Agbaji, if I'm saying that right, and Larry Markkinen. So what they did is they gave up a lot, but now this means that they're going for the title. Like, they have it doesn't necessarily mean they're going for the title, but they have a really good young core with Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, who I think should have won MVP Rookie of the Year last year, and Jared Allen, who's just really solid player. Thank you for watching this episode of Stiffler Podcast. So this podcast is where we cover you from all the sports world, from football to soccer. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video and comment if you want. And you can even say anything, like if you want to debate. Like, let's just say you want me to do, let's say, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes? Just comment it down below. I'll probably do it.